Hey, Shalom. I'm going to start off by giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honor to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. And a Shalom to you brothers and sisters out there listening and learning. Shalom. Hey, today's lesson is going to be on the famine, the global famine that's sweeping across the world, due to this war and due to the Lord, basically, putting the plagues of Egypt on America, right? Because one of the plagues, Egypt was a famine, right? And this is how Joseph was sold, and he read the dreams of Pharaoh, and he got reunited with his brothers through the famine in Egypt. But through that famine, a lot of people sold their people into slavery, but that was one of the penalties that was put on Egypt, right? And Egypt is also known as America, right? Egypt means the house of bondage, right? And this is what Israel was brought here to America to serve slavery. And now these curses are coming upon our enemies, right? This is the book of Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter, right? Because Israel, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and those scattered throughout the four corners are coming out of slavery, right? This is the book of Deuteronomy 30 and 3, right? And this is a future judgment. It's saying, then Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, thy power will turn thy captivity, right? So this is what you're saying, right? The Lord is getting ready to turn our captivity, right? Which means take us out of it, and have compassion on thee, and I will return and gather thee from all the nations whither Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, thy power, have scattered thee, right? But the point right here is in 7, right? It says, and the Lord thy power, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, will put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee, right? And one of those curses is, he said it'll make the iron as brass and the ground as matter of fact, let me not butcher it. Right, he says, bear with me 1 second. In Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, right, the 23rd verse, it says, and the heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is under thee shall be iron. Right, so that means that they're not going to be able to get, that rain and that good crop. Right, so these curses are coming upon the whole world, right? And I just went to Google, and I just did a simple search, right? I just put in the word famine, right? And let's see what pops up, right? And you got a lot of stories, right? This is one from Reuters. Widen gaze from Ukraine to avert famine in Somalia, right? The war in Ukraine is pushing countries short on food to famine, right? Baby formula shortage is a preview of the coming food crisis. Right, let's just take a look at that. Right, it says, Americans have a very little understanding of where most of our food comes from, which most people don't. They just think it magically appears in the grocery store. Right, but truth be told, the food that we eat here in America is coming from all over the world. Right, to have a smorgasbord and a produce aisle full of, all kind of different produce, it takes a lot. Right, a lot of import, export. And a lot of people just don't understand that, right? It says where most of our food comes from, that it makes it harder to connect the dots between extreme heat and drought and insect apocalypse in our food system, right? But without dramatic action to limit both warming and corporate power over our food supply, shortages and famines are imminent, right? And this is exactly what's going to happen. and it's going to lead to people rising up against each other, right? People eating each other, right? What do they call that? Cannibalism, right? This is what it's all going to lead to, and that's going to cause war and all kind of other things. This is the book of Second Ezra 16 and 19. It said, "Behold, famine and plague and tribulation and anguish are set as scourges for amendment." Right, so the Lord is scourging this place, right, to correct, right, the things that they've done. This is why the Lord does these things. This is why He put the curses on us, right? It's scourges for amendment, right? So now He's putting them on everybody else, right? I believe it's the book of Tobit. Let me see. We were just talking about this the other day at camp. This is the book of Tobit. I believe it's chapter 4. Bear with me one moment. Yeah, it's the book of Tobit, chapter 4, and verse 13. It says, "Now therefore, my son, love thy brethren, and despise not in thy heart thy brethren, for the sons and daughters of thy people, and not taking a wife of them. For in pride is destruction and much trouble, and in lewdness is decay and great want. For lewdness is the mother of famine." Right? And that word lewd, is the key word to this. And America has been waxing worse in their lewdness, right? And then they thumbing their nose up at the Lord. And that can only go on for so long before the Lord takes vengeance. This is the definition of lewdness. Right, lewdness is lascivious behavior and is sexual behavior or conduct that is considered crude and offensive, or contrary to local, moral, or other standards of appropriate behavior. Right, and that can go into, that those LGBTQ, things that they have going on. Right, this is lewdness. Right, you got transsexuals reading library hour. Right, this is lewdness that the Lord is looking at. Right, so great famine is going to be coming here because of that. Right, and all your money, right, is not going to be able to help you. Right, so this is one of the stories of a past famine, right, because the Lord will make a sore famine in the land. And this is one of the stories of the past famines in the book of 2 Kings, the 6th chapter. I'll start at the 25th verse. It said, "And there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they besieged it, until an ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver." Right, and in this day and age, that's a lot. Not a lot of people have 80 pieces of silver. That's 80 pieces of silver. Right. Let's see how much. Actually, we don't even have to go there, because just picture it in your mind for yourself. An ass's head. Right. Let's look at a donkey head meat. Right, let's look this up. Right, so this is what it is. Right, a donkey's head. Right, how much would it go for? Hey, they ain't got it on here. But just imagine that. The head of a donkey, right? Not even the body, not even a piece of brisket or nothing like that. Right? Just the head. Right? Went for 80 pieces of silver in that time. Right? And a fourth part of a cab of dove's dung, right, for 5 pieces of silver. Right? So let's look at what dung is. For those that don't know. Right? dung is excrement of animals, manure, right? Or poop, right? So a fourth of cab, a bird poop, right? Sold for 5 pieces of silver, right? So this is how bad the famine was. And this is how it's going to get here, right? And as the king of Israel was passing by upon the wall, there cried a woman unto him, saying, Help my lord, O king. And he say, If the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua do not help thee, whence shall I help thee? Right? Because it ain't going to be no, you a beautiful woman and now somebody's going to come and save you. No. In a time of a famine, people look out for themselves. And this is what it's coming to. Right? It says, if the Lord do not help thee, whence shall I help thee? Out of the barn floor or out of the wine press? Right? Saying, hey, I don't have nothing. Right? And the king say unto her, What aileth thee? And she answered, This woman say unto me, Give thy son, that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. Right? So they made a pact to eat their children. Right? Hey, and with this formula shortage, hey, your children ain't gonna have too much meat in that day. Right? But these women made a pact to eat one cook they son one day and another cook them the next day. Right? This is how bad it's gonna get. So we boiled my son and did eat him. And I said unto her the next day, Give thy son that we may eat him. And she had hid her son. Right? So this is how bad the Lord can make it. And this is how bad he's gonna make it. Right? Because the Lord is determined to bring terror upon this place. Right? And also these elites are determined to bring this in as well. Right? You see a lot of fires. Right? Fires. Let's look up fires. Fires on food factories. Food facilities. Right? And it says here, food plant fires. Hey, they're saying, this is what they're saying, but there's a lot of stories going on, right, that food plants are catching fire, right, and this is all gonna lead into, right, these elites, right, bringing in the MOTB or the Karagma, right, because when you're starving, hey, you'll do whatever it takes, right? You think this lady that boiled her son, if all she had to do was get the chip, that she wouldn't have got the chip instead of boiling her son, right, and eating him? And these are the decisions that are gonna be made in this time, right? And this is why the Lord is allowing these things to happen, because people usually won't do what you say unless they have to, right? And the only way that they're gonna have to do it is through the famines that's coming, right? So you may say that, oh well, this is being orchestrated. It is but it's being orchestrated by the Lord, right? Because the Lord controls both sides of these things, right? And all these are sent as scourges for amendment, right? This is the book of 2nd Ezra. I believe it's the 15th chapter. Let me see. Right. It says 2nd Ezra 15 and 18. Right. It says, because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. And remember, I just read that lewdness is the mother of famine. Right. So that lewdness goes into those LGTB pride things. Right. So for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And a man shall have no pity on his neighbor, but will destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Right? Hey, so this is why you got to pay attention to all these things. Hey, because the Lord is a perfect chess player, right? And in a game of chess, right, you don't just take a piece just to take a piece, right? If you got a man's piece, hey, you set up for another piece, right? Put them all in a pretzel, and this is what the Lord is doing to this place, right? He's pushing pawns, and he got a lot of pieces and looking about ready to go, just by pushing these pawns, right? And then he gonna bring out the big boys, right? So where was I? In Second Ezra's, right? It says Salakia. It says for the lack of bread, right? This is what I was getting at, right? So they say there's a 10-week wheat supply. Salakia. There you go right here. It said world has 10 weeks of wheat left in storage. Food experts warn. Salakia. Right, that's on the insider. Right, world has only 10 weeks of wheat supply left. Hey, so where do you get this bread from? What is bread made out of? Right, wheat. Right, so for the lack of bread, right, so that we almost there. Right, so you need to prepare yourself for the times that's coming. Right, and really the only way to prepare is by knowing the names of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, right, repenting and doing the things that the Lord requires. Right, that's why we make these videos daily. Right, because if you don't work, you don't eat. Right, you can't just start working. In the middle of like put it this way, right? If you don't have $1 and you start a new job, right, and your job only gets paid every 2 weeks, hey, you gotta wait a month to get paid. So what you gonna do in that time, right? So you better get to working right now, because this is what the Lord say for those that work. The Lord will help, right? This is Job 5:19. It says, he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, and 7 shall there no evil touch thee. And famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh. Neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth, for thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. Right? Hey, so this is the reward for doing the work. Right? Though it may not be easy, time-consuming study, hey, faith, hope, hey, it's not an easy thing. Right, but nothing that's worth anything is easy, right? So, hey, watch out for these times and prepare, right? Know the names of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, right? Because the scriptures say the name of the Lord is a strong tower. Let me get that. Bear with me. It's in the book of Proverbs 18:10. It say the name of the Lord, Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and is safe. Right? So know the name of the Lord. Right? Be repentant. Believe on the Lord. Hey, and Lord's will, he works with you in that day. You know, the scriptures say, if you love me, to feed my sheep, right? So through us feeding it, hey, we're going to get fed, right? Hey, Lord's will, this was edifying. If you have any questions, put it in the comment. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kadash. Shalom.